Hey creepy people, this is P&W Haunts and Homicides. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Cassie.
Together we explore stories of the paranormal and true crime throughout the Pacific Northwest. We're just two normal-ish friends who wanted more creepy local stories. Our episodes start with a tarot reading to help us gain some insight on each topic as we share the facts of the case and our interpretations.
Come join us. We've got plenty of wine, laughs, and stories to share.
You can find our episodes featuring true stories from infamous as well as lesser-known true crime cases, like the murders in Tunnel 13 and Forest Park.
As well as our spooky stories from Pike Place and the Oregon Vortex on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, and many more.
For all of you that are listening, if you have any true crime or paranormal stories that you want us to share, email us at pnwhauntsandhomicides@gmail.com.
Have a creepy ass day.
Welcome to Blood, Guts, and Booze.
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Kendrah. This is a paranormal and true crime podcast here to frighten you and make you question the world that we live in. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this. Listener discretion is advised, as these podcasts are not for the faint of heart, nor are they PG. Welcome back, everyone, to the first episode this year.
Woo!
We hope that you all had an amazing new year. And we are so excited to see what this year brings us with Blood, Guts, and Booze. And once again, thank you all so much for supporting us last year.
Yes, thank you all so much. We got a few, hopefully, little surprises for everyone this year. We also got our Patreon up and running. So anyone that would like to support us on there, you can. We're going to be starting to post some VIP stuff on there, so it's exclusive to just Patreon for anyone that wants to listen.
Yes, ma'am.
Woo!
All right, guys, so for the first time, as promised last year, I will be going more places in the world. So I will be traveling to Japan with my case today to tell you guys all about the 44 days of pure hell that Junko Furuta went through. I'm putting a huge trigger warning on this one for rape and torture. You have all been warned. So Junko was born on January 18th, 1971.
Oh, she's a Capricorn.
In Misato, Saitama, Japan. She was the middle child of two brothers. In high school, she lived with her parents and attended Yashio Minami High School. She worked part-time at a plastic molding factory after school.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. She worked so that she could save up money for an after-graduation trip that she had planned. And she'd also accepted a job at an electronics retailer for after graduation. Junko was known as a wonderful and well-liked person. She had excellent grades and rarely missed school. She did not drink, smoke, or do drugs.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Junko had a very bright future until, sadly, she was kidnapped on November 25th, 1988.
Oh.
18-year-old Hiroshi Miyano and 16-year-old Shinji Minato were wandering around Misato with the intention of robbing and raping a local woman. The two, along with their two friends, 17-year-old Ju Ugura and 17-year-old Yasushi Watanabe, already had a history of gang rape.
Ew.
And had recently kidnapped a girl, raped her, and released her.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how intense this was already.
Yeah.
Because I've heard this case a couple times on, like, YouTube, other podcasts. And I always forget how intense it is.
It's a very, very intense case.
Mm-hmm. It's sad, too, what happens. Oh.
Yes. No spoilers.
I'm not.
So the four boys claim to be part of the Yakuza. For those who don't know, it's a large crime organization in Japan like the mafia. Basically, they're Japanese gangsters.
A good, I don't know if anybody has ever seen the show, like a good representation, I think, of them would be on, oh my god, it was a show on like Spike where they used to battle, and they would use two different, it was like historical war figures that they would fight against each other.
Okay. I feel like I know the show that you're talking about.
And they were on there, and they're basically in like pinstripe suits almost.
I feel like it's called like Fights in History or Historical Fights or something.
Like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, but they have, they have your typical mobster look. Mm-hmm. Right? With
the pinstripes.
Yeah, with the little hat and the guns. Yeah.
The old Berettas.
Yeah.
Like the old Bonnie and Clyde gun. So anyways, at 8:30 p.m., the two boys spotted Junko riding her bike home from work. Hiroshi ordered Shinji to go and kick Junko's bike from under her and run away.
That's fucking rude.
Mm-hmm. Hiroshi, then pretending to be a random witness, went up to Junko and offered to walk her home safely.
Oh my god.
She accepted.
Oh yeah, I mean, you just got basically assaulted, and then some guy's like, you know what? Keep you safe, I'll walk you home. Mm-hmm. Comfort him. I get it.
Yes. Instead of walking her home, though, he led her to a nearby warehouse, then told her about his Yakuza connections. He raped her, and then took her to a hotel, raped her again, and threatened to kill her.
Ah.
From the motel, Hiroshi called his other friends and bragged about the rape. Ju apparently asked him to keep Junko in captivity so that multiple people could sexually assault her. Around 3 a.m., Hiroshi took Junko to a nearby park where the three other boys were waiting. They then explained to Junko that they knew where she lived and that Yakuza members would kill her family if she tried to escape. The four then overpowered her and took her to a house owned by Ju's... Oh, hold on. Nobuharu. Yeah, I can't remember if that's Shinji or Ju. Shinji, okay. The four then overpowered her and took her to a house owned by Shinji's parents and gang raped her. The house became the regular spot to hang out after this. Ugh. On November 27th, Junko's parents contacted the police about her disappearance. The boys forced Junko to call home and tell her parents that she was not missing and had actually just run away. She told them that she was safe and staying with friends. In the beginning, when Shinji's parents were home and around the group, Junko was forced to pretend to be his girlfriend. Shinji soon realized, though, that his parents weren't going to report them to the police, so the act was quickly dropped. The group held Junko captive for 40 days in the Minato home. During this time, they repeatedly raped, beat, and tortured Junko.
Ugh. Cringy.
Now, here's the triple warning, because now I am going to give you examples of the hell that she went through in
detail
this house. Okay, so examples of it include shaving her pubic hair and making her dance naked for them.
Oh my goodness.
They even left her out on the balcony naked once, freezing overnight. They beat her with golf clubs and bashed her head on the concrete floor. She was also forced to masturbate in front of them, and they forced objects into her vagina and anus, like a bottle, iron bar, scissors, grilled chicken skewers, a roasting needle, and a lit fucking match.
Oh my god.
They also once placed a hot light bulb in her vagina and rubbed it until it broke. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, my vagina hurts thinking of that.
My whole body hurts thinking of this.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not done yet. They would force feed her alcohol, milk, and water, and was given very small amounts of food. She was eventually only given milk, though, so she became extremely malnourished. She was given live cockroaches to eat, though.
Protein.
This case reminds me a lot of the Sylvia Likens case that I covered back in September.
Yes.
Yeah. So Junko was also forced to smoke multiple cigarettes at once and inhale paint thinner.
Oh my god.
Her left nipple was ripped off with pliers. And she once had fireworks placed in her bum and set off, causing burns.
Oh my god.
Olivia's like holding her boobs right now, thinking of the nipple being ripped off.
And then my butt cheeks are clenched. I'm hurting. I'm really angry right now too. Really angry. This case makes me very angry.
Yeah, the nipple with pliers always makes me think of the Toolbox Killers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that, oh.
Hiroshi once also burned Junko's legs and arms severely with lighter fluid after she attempted to call the police. Because of her multiple injuries and her burns becoming infected, she was unable to go downstairs to use the bathroom and stayed on Shinji's floor in a state of extreme weakness.
Oh, she was probably, like, just on her way of going at that point. If if her body was that infected too, like, and that much damage to her body, especially in her genital areas.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
I didn't name all of the abuse that she went through, as there was, like, so much more than this. This is just, like, the minimum.
I'm sure the burns and the light bulb probably, like, and the firework probably caused some sort of internal bleed-in and damage.
Yeah.
She was, yeah. Oh my goodness.
So her face had become extremely swollen. She could not breathe out of her nose anymore, and her body became extremely crippled. She began giving off a rotting smell, so the boys had no sexual interest in her anymore.
Yeah, her wounds are infected. They're smelling like...
So, because they'd had no sexual interest in Junko, they kidnapped a 19-year-old woman, gang raped her, and then let her go. On January 4th, Hiroshi became extremely upset after he lost a game of mahjong and decided to take his anger out on Junko. The entire group began kicking and punching her. They placed 2 short candles in her eyelids, lit a candle and poured hot wax on her, and they then made her drink her own urine. At one point, Junko fell back onto a stereo and collapsed into a fit of convulsions. Because her head started bleeding and she had pus coming out from her infections, the boys wrapped plastic around her hands so that they wouldn't get it on their hands. Or they wrapped plastic around their hands so that they wouldn't get her pus all over their own hands while they continued to beat her.
Like, just stop at the... Like, stop. You guys should have stopped the whole... Their parents should have stopped them. But, like, this shouldn't have happened in general. But you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
They then dropped an exercise ball on her stomach several times. They then poured lighter fluid all over her body and set her on fire.
Quickly, when you say exercise ball, are you talking about the big bouncy ones or like a medicine ball?
Like the ones that you, like, throw for, like, heaviness.
So a medicine... Oh my god.
Yeah. The ones that kind of look like dodgeballs.
Yeah, yeah. That's a medicine ball. They're heavy. You can
Yeah.
get them in different weights. Oh my god.
Yeah. Junko allegedly attempted to put the fire out that was on her, but she gradually just became unresponsive.
Yeah.
Less than 24 hours later, Shinji's brother called him and told him that Junko was dead. Afraid of getting in trouble for murder, they decided to get rid of the body.
Wow.
The group wrapped Junko in blankets and shoved her into a travel bag. They then placed her body in a 55-gallon drum and filled it with wet concrete. Around 8 p.m., they loaded the drum and disposed of it in a cement truck on Koto, Tokyo. Koto might be spelled wrong. It has, like, the lines over the O's.
It could be Kutu. Koto.
I know the 2 dots makes it an ooh, so I don't know about the line. I'm trying.
I'm slowly learning Japanese for anybody that is interested. So eventually I'll be able to help correct us in this.
Excellent. Because there's a lot of Japanese cases.
Good. Perfect.
Yes, for me, I have a good amount of Japanese.
Yeah, I've made it my goal this year to learn Japanese and Icelandic. So
I was going to say Icelandic. Because you promised our listeners
Yeah.
a couple episodes that you would. Okay, so on January 23rd, 1989, Hiroshi and Ju... Oh, it is an O because it's the line. Never mind. I lied. You just got an Amazon delivery and it scared the shit out of me.
Oh, it's my thermos. Hold on, let me go grab it. That scared the shit out of me too. He just fucking whaled it down.
Yeah, he just like
No,
threw it at your door.
Fragile, homie.
Heard a big thud, and then I just see some guy walking away with a freaking his phone taking pictures of your house.
Fragile.
Rude.
Yeah. That's my new thermos, man.
So it is Kutu, Tokyo. So anyways, on January 23rd, 1989, Hiroshi and Ju were arrested for gang rape on the 19-year-old woman that they had kidnapped while holding Junko.
Okay.
On March 29th, 2 officers came in to interrogate them because women's underwear was found in the home while they were doing their investigation. During the interview, Hiroshi thought that Ju had already confessed to the crimes against Junko, and because he thought that they already knew, he confessed and told the officers where to find Junko's body.
Whoops.
They didn't know, but he's dumb. So the police were able to find the drum containing Junko's body and were able to identify her through fingerprints.
Oh.
On April 1st, 1989, Ju was arrested for another sexual assault and then rearrested for Junko's murder. Yasushi, Shinji, and Shinji's brother were quickly arrested as well, along with 2 other boys, Tetsu Nakamura and Koichi Ihara, after their DNA was found on and inside Junko's body. Junko's funeral was held the next day. She was 16 years old. All 4 boys pled guilty to committing bodily injury that resulted in death. Hiroshi Miyano was sentenced to 17 years, being considered the leader. When he tried to appeal his sentence, a judge added 3 more years to his sentence.
Good. How fucking dare you try to appeal your shit when you did something this disgusting?
To me, it should be life.
A 16-year-old. Yeah, it should be life.
Yeah. Hiroshi was denied parole in 2004, and then sometime between then and 2013, he was released. But in 2013, he was rearrested for fraud. There was not enough evidence in that case, though, and he was a free man.
No.
Shinji Minato originally was sentenced to 4 to 6 years, but when he appealed, the same judge that changed Hiroshi's sentence changed his as well to add another 5 to 9 years.
Good.
After his release, he moved in with his mother and never worked again. He was rearrested again in 2018 for attempted murder after he beat a man with a metal rod and slashed his throat with a knife.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should just keep him away forever if he's this unstable.
I think all of them should have been kept away for forever.
1,000%, but like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so Yasushi Wanabe's original sentence was 3 to 4 years. It was changed to 5 to 7. Ju was sentenced to 5 to 10 years. He served 8 years before being released in 2004. He changed his last name afterwards and was adopted by a supporter of his crime. The same year that he was released, he was arrested for assault. Takatoshi Isano was an acquaintance whom he believed to be messing around with his girlfriend. So naturally, he tracked him down and beat him. He then shoved him in his truck, drove him to his mother's bar, and beat him for 4 hours, repeatedly threatening to kill him and claiming that he had killed before and knew how to get away with it. He was sentenced to another 7 years and was again released.
What in the actual fuck?
Yep.
Why aren't they in, like, an institution where they can be locked away forever?
So there is a little good chunk of trivia. Shinji's parents explained later during questioning that the reason that they didn't report anything to the police was because they knew of their son's Yakuza connection and feared retaliation. The Yakuza is some serious, scary shit, so I kind of understand.
I get it, but at the same time, she's 16.
Mm-hmm. But it was either her or them, so... Shinji was increasingly violent towards his parents as well.
Oh, that kind of makes sense. They were probably really scared of him then.
Also, depending on the source, Shinji's name was also Nobuharu. Hiroshi had a crush on Junko, and when he asked her out, she said no.
Makes sense why they maybe targeted her.
Mm-hmm. Ju's mother allegedly vandalized Junko's grave, claiming that Junko had ruined her son's life.
Wow. That's...
Twisted.
I'm really, really triggered right now.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Ju also spent all of his family's savings that was intended to be used as restitution for Junko's family on luxury items. His mama probably supported it too.
I mean, my son can't do anything wrong. My son is perfect.
Yeah, that bitch ruined my kid's life.
It's her fault that he went to jail.
Yeah.
Wow.
During Hiroshi's confession interview, he was originally under suspicion for a woman and her 7-year-old son who had been murdered 9 days before Junko was kidnapped. That crime has never been solved.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm. Shinji's parents and brother were never charged.
That's really sad. They should have been.
It was estimated that Junko was raped by over 100 men who also allegedly enjoyed urinating on her.
Oh my goodness.
There are some people who believe Junko's torture and death is a hoax.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Now for the nice trivia. To kind of... Because I always try to leave the dark ones with the nice things at the end. Junko's high school principal presented her family with a diploma.
Oh, that's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because you said she was such a good student, right? So...
Junko's future employer, where she hadn't started yet, also presented the family with her future work uniform, and it was placed in her casket.
Oh, that's lovely.
Mm-hmm. The site where Junko's body was developed, and now it is Wakusa Park.
Oh, I love that.
There have been at least 3 books and 1 exploitation film about Junko, and the case was the inspiration for the manga 17 Sai and the film Concrete in 2004.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's my case.
That case always triggers me. It makes me really angry. Every time I hear it. Your trivia, though, a lot of that stuff I had never heard. And...
I try to find stuff that's not usually mentioned.
But, like, a lot of the acts that happened to her, I had known about, because, like I said, I've previously heard this case, but the trivia that you said, a lot of that stuff was new to me. I hadn't heard of that. It really bugs me that Shinji's parents and brother didn't have any charges against them. They should have had something. I understand they were scared because of the mafia, but come on. They still knew about it. And you said, what, 45 days?
44.
44 days. So they knew about it for 44 days.
40 days she was in the house, but they had tortured her for 44.
Yeah, so it's like they knew about it for well over a month. Like, they should have had some sort of charge against them. That's it. That part's not right at all. I mean, the whole thing's not right, but I mean, they also had involvement too, so they should have to pay their dues as well.
Yeah, and I definitely think that all of them should still be in prison.
Oh, 1,000%. Whether prison, an institution, they need to be locked up and kept away, because clearly, even when they're out, they're still doing stupid shit and causing a lot of danger to society. So why would you keep them out? Like,
so,
and I thought Canadian law system was fucking weird, man.
Yeah, it's interesting that a lot of laws are very, very different in different countries. I find it interesting the more I'm looking into international crimes, how very different it is in different countries of, you know, oh, you can torture someone to death, but you can have like 3 years. Or, you know, you have a pack of Skittles in your pocket and you get shot down to death in the U.S. So, you know, it's very interesting how the laws are very, very different in different countries.
Yeah.
But anyways, what do you have for us today? Because I'm interested by the name alone, and it's making me hungry.
So today, my case is a little bit shorter, but I will be talking about the haunting of Ham House.
Ham.
Ham.
I had ham for dinner last night.
Oh, did you? What kind of ham? Like, was it honey glaze? Did you have pineapple on it? What'd you do with your ham?
It was like, I got it from Walmart. It's like half a ham. And it's like honey glazed I think I got a maple glazed one this time. And
We're Canadian, so if it's not maple glazed, it's not where it's at.
Ron sliced it up and fried it.
Ooh, did you have it with eggs?
No, with mashed potatoes and corn. That's what the child picked.
Ah, the child.
Yes, the child gets to pick the sides a lot of the time, because if not, then the child will not eat the sides.
I get it. When a child is young, they're very picky.
Yes. Anyways, tell me about this hungry, hungry hippo house.
So, Ham House was built in 1610. And in 1626, a man named William Murray was gifted the house by King Charles I. And because I totally forgot to mention it, if nobody guessed, we are in England.
Okay, thanks.
King Charles.
So we're both traveling.
William Murray and his wife Catherine and their children had moved their belongings into the house. They added, you know, a little bit of spice to the place to make it beautiful. And it turned into this magnificent 17th century home that you can actually still visit for tours today, which is really cool.
I love old houses. We know this, that I love old buildings.
Well, so do we both love old buildings. In 1637 to 1639, the inside of the house was made so luxurious by William, people were calling him a man of importance and style. Yes, your birthday's already wrote in there.
Good.
I can't remember your mom's birthday.
You even put my mom's in the right spot.
Did I?
Yeah.
Isn't that so funny? I have your mom's birthday in my calendar. I don't know if I have Ron's in there.
Sorry.
It's all good. Between 1637 and 1639, the inside of the house was made so luxurious by William, people were calling him a man of importance and style. I mean, he is friends with King Charles I. The townspeople understood why he was friends with the kings, right? Makes sense.
I have a feeling that...
He was also, like, a bit of,
flamboyant?
Well, I was going to say of, like, an interior designer, but I mean, if you want to say flamboyant.
Interior designer.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, though, like, back then, it wasn't really okay to be like, into, quote, women's things. So
Well, if you think about it back then, right, men probably picked everything, right? We are in 1600,
my wife can't have an
so
opinion.
Yeah, so it might have been a little bit different back then. In 1642, the English Civil War against the Parliaments had started. This was also under his good friend, King Charles I.
Nice.
And because he was such good friends with the king and a man of higher class, he was mandated to fight in the war.
Oh no.
I mean, you gotta help a bro out. He gave you this luxurious house that you furnished with luxurious things.
Go fucking fight for him.
So this meant he had to leave his wife and children at home while he went off to battle. The royal side of the war had lost the battle against the Parliament, and homeboy King Charles was captured, and soon he was tried and executed for treason.
Oh no!
And was beheaded in 1649.
Oh no!
In 1660, his son Charles II rose to power. Elizabeth, who is William's daughter, she had married her first husband, Sir Lionel Tollemache, who was the third Baronet of Helmenham Hall in Suffolk. She bore 11 children with him. Woo! God fucking damn her poor vagina.
Uh-huh. Oh, thank you.
Unfortunately, only 5 of them had survived to adulthood.
Oh, I'm sad now.
She started fooling around with another man named John Maitland, 1st Duke of Lauderdale, while she was still married. Sir Lionel had passed away very suddenly. Elizabeth then remarried to John Maitland in 1672, and he was also good pals with King Charles II.
Well, of course.
Elizabeth did some renos on the Ham house after their wedding, so she made it even more luxurious.
She just keeps marrying the king's best friend, eh?
Mm-hmm. Elizabeth was known as a fucking savage and super greedy. If you piss her off, even if you were her family, she would take you to court or do whatever she can to fucking get whatever from you.
I'm saying she a gold digger.
Ain't saying she a gold digger.
Broke.
Her daddy died. She's gonna find someone else to support her, right?
Oh, yeah.
John Maitland had a stroke and became very ill afterwards, which led to his death.
Oh, no, 2 husbands have died now. Weird.
Weirdly suspicious, right?
Suspicious.
Elizabeth had received all of his debt and had to pay it off, which led to her struggling financially.
Oh.
Soon after, she started to get extremely sick herself. Elizabeth ended up locking herself away in a floor inside of the Ham house. After her passing in 1698, the Ham house stayed within her family for 300 years, with little to no modifications done over time.
Wow.
So everything is still the same pretty much from the 1600s.
That's cool.
That is so fucking cool. I want to go see this place.
Let's go.
In 1948, the Ham house became owned by the National Trust in the UK by the descended owners. So it's basically a historical site. It's owned by the historical company people in the UK.
Okay.
And yes, that's a penis sucker on my desk. My friend, my waifu, my work waifu, Erica, gave me a penis lollipop for Christmas with a friend's cup.
Do you just stare at Nick while you lick it?
No, it's still in the plastic.
You should just stare at Nick while you lick it.
But
in
I have
the plastic.
In the plastic.
Just be like, hey, this is your dick in a condom. Sup?
He would probably be so cringed. He would be like, why are you doing this to me right now?
But it's sexy. It's like when you just like pretend to do the blowjob motions, you know?
Oh, but knowing me, because it's me,
Make it weird.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be sexy.
It would be weird.
Can you be sexy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think it's in my nature to be sexy.
Okay.
I'm too awkward. Too awkward for that.
Taco.
Yeah.
Your taco's even awko.
Yeah. Everything's just awkward.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
So now we're going to get into the hauntings.
Okay, sorry, I'll be serious.
The first claims of hauntings inside of the Ham House happened in 1879. There was a quote made by butler Augustus Hare, whose daughter had the experience, and I'm going to quote, "There is a ghost at Ham. The old butler there had a little girl. She was then 6 years old. In the small hours of the morning, the child, waking up, saw a little old woman scratching with her finger against the wall close to the fireplace." The font's too light. It's like I can't read it. She was not at all frightened at first, but sat up to look at her. The noise she made in doing this caused the old woman to look around. She came to the foot of the bed and was grasping the rail, stared at the child long and fixedly. So horrible was her stare that the child was terrified and screamed and had hid her face. People ran in and the child told what she had seen. The wall was examined where she had seen the figure scratching, and concealed in it were papers which proved that in the room Elizabeth had murdered her first husband to marry the Duke of Lauderdale.
What?
End quote.
No way!
Well, he died suddenly. I mean...
Why you gotta keep the papers in the wall, bro? Throw them in the fireplace. Stop keeping things, murderers, please. Except don't, because then I can talk about you being jealous.
Yeah. She says that with a creepy look on her face. After they checked behind the wall where the woman was scratching, they found documents stating Elizabeth had murdered her first husband, Sir Lionel, to be with John Maitland. Insert dun 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 noise.
Dun, dun, dun.
So that's kind of interesting. Like I said, we both thought it was a little suspicious that two of her husbands had died on her, right? And they're both fairly wealthy men.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth's ghost has been seen wandering all over the Ham House. Most people have their paranormal encounters on the ground floor in Elizabeth's room. You will experience a heaviness, depression, and sadness. If you bring your pets, they tend to hesitate when entering the room. Inside of the house, there is a giant looking glass that is dated back to Elizabeth's time period.
That's cool.
Right? Some people are scared to look into the mirror and see something or someone that's not supposed to be there.
Oh no.
The workers there believe that Elizabeth's spirit is so powerful that they have to say good morning or good afternoon or evening ladyship.
Oh.
Or they're afraid they don't want to piss her off. Because remember,
fuck with
she
her.
was very vengeful as a human. Imagine her as a spirit being vengeful. I get it. Don't piss her off. And going back to the looking glass, I would love to go in this place and just constantly take pictures in the mirror and see if something shows up.
Aren't mirrors a gateway too?
I was going to say, mirrors are supposed to be a gateway or a portal into another world or dimension. So it'd be really cool to see if anything happened. A woman in black is seen hanging out by the stairwell inside the Ham House. It's said to be Elizabeth, but there are other spirits that also reside within the walls. Remember, she did have 2 husbands die. There are multiple children that have died in the house from her mother, like her siblings, right? And her. She also had a lot of babies.
And any other, like, grandma died in there.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. There are also screams that have been heard from a nobleman who committed suicide after being rejected by a servant girl who lived on the Ham House property.
Oh no.
People have also heard a young girl that they believe is the servant girl that this man was hurt by.
Oh.
And a quick tidbit is this could be a residual haunting. His love might have been so strong that his memory was so powerful. Even her presence is seen and heard by people. So maybe people are seeing him being rejected by her. Right?
Yeah.
And then hearing their cries, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Later in Elizabeth's life, she would use a cane to walk around at night. And sometimes during the night, you can hear taps from the cane going down the hallways, like... Footprints have been seen in random places around the house. Tobacco has been smelt in the dining room. There has been a phantom dog seen running around the Ham house. Bark, bark. Woof, woof. The on-site manager is baffled on how to explain a lot of the paranormal things that occur in the house. A young couple went to the Ham house in 2009. While walking around on the lower floor, they heard what sounded like a growl down the hall from them. They ended up deciding to take a photo of the hallway as they felt super uncomfortable. And there is a surprise humanoid figure in the photograph.
Ooh.
And we will post the picture on Instagram for anyone that wants to see.
Yep.
So now we're going to do some fun facts.
Okay.
There is an incredible selection of artwork inside of the Ham house.
Oh, I bet it's like super old too.
Probably a lot of art from the 1600s, 17, you know, there's 300 years of probably artwork in that house.
That's cool.
Some of the walls are painted with artwork as well. Like I said, it has become a historical site in the UK. It's owned by the National Historical people.
Yeah.
Lots of tourists each year visit the Ham house for a paranormal and historical experience. Elizabeth tried to flirt her way into protection from the people in power during the war that her father had fought in. She was also being watched by the royalist and parliament spies because she was flirting her way to stay protected. So they thought she was a spy. So she was being watched.
Spies on spies.
And that is my case.
Interesting. That was an interesting one.
Yeah, it was a little short, but I thought it was quirky and cute, and I loved the history behind it.
And damn, Elizabeth.
Yeah, she, I
You
would
know.
like to eventually find out how she killed her husband. I couldn't find how she had killed him, so that would be cool.
Interesting.
And if I find out, I'll let everyone know. But I'm sure it was some sort of poison.
Classic.
It's the 1600s. It probably would have been the easiest way to do something was give him a little something.
Yeah.
But I would like to eventually go visit the Ham house.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, even if it wasn't haunted, it sounds like a place I'd want to visit.
Oh, just the historical artwork.
Exactly.
Even the fact that the walls are painted in art. Oh, it just sounds magnificent. The pictures, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Anyways, I think that about wraps up this week.
I think it does.
Yeah, so that was our first episode this year.
Playing toesies with me.
My feet are freezing. Your house is cold.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, that wraps up our episode for this year. Or for
For this month.
this
Week.
week. For the first one this year. There we go. Other than, of course, our Canada one, but that doesn't count. Anyway.
Our first regular scheduled episode of the year.
So thank you all for listening, and I hope that you really enjoyed this year with us.
Yeah, and no matter where you are, thanks for listening.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Special thanks to Dylan Sears for the theme song and Sally Gunter for the cover art. Support us on Patreon and like, share, rate, and subscribe to us on all of our social media pages and your podcast streaming service. Do you have any personal stories or suggestions for the show? Email us at bloodgutsandbooze@gmail.com.